Hey guys, it's Drift Travis here, and I'm here with Dean Richardson, the other admin on Planet Kaiju, and we are Planet Kaiju for right now. And with us today is a very special guest. You might know him from the movie coming out called Godzilla Battle Royale. We have...
Billy Dubose.
The squeaking was the best part, like a
Yeah.
drum roll.
At first it was all...
Sorry.
It was like, we are interviewing... Alright, so...
No, that's my stupid computer chair.
If you don't know Billy, he is the director. He's basically the mind of the fan film Godzilla Battle Royale, which I really can't wait for. Coming out this year, November 3rd, YouTube, and probably premiering in Chicago, which he said yes it is. And goddamn bike. So, this is kind of our first interview on Skype, so if you kind of like how better it sounds, that's not grammar. If you like it, if it's... I can't talk. If it's better sounding, then like this video. And we're going to try and do this in... Any first question? Alright. So, first question, obviously, is, how did you come up with the idea of Godzilla Battle Royale?
Well, it first started when I was helping out G-Fest and Dojo Studios, before it was known as Dojo Studios, in the year 2010. I was contacted by a guy named Paul Gabbins, because the previous year I had completed my first Godzilla costume ever. And I actually still have it, and still doing a few little things with it, but it's going to be retired very, very soon. He asked me if I could help him with a little fan commercial idea they wanted to do with G-Fest the following year. And I got to G-Fest in 2010, and we had a whole bunch of people come there too with some other suits and some building props. We got this one ballroom at the Stevenson Convention Center, and it actually had very dark blue walls. So we didn't have a lot of lighting equipment, but the way we did lit it, it seemed very dark and made it look all very atmosphere-like in a way. So when we set all the buildings up and we had all our costumes ready to go, we had quite a fun time filming, because that was something we obviously all wanted to do as kids, since we were kids. And after we finished it, I started learning some video editing programs like Final Cut and Vision Lab Studios, which at the time was popular, but now it's kind of obsolete and it turned into hit film now. So after I dabbled with the video footage we got for about a year, I showed it to Paul and JD, and they were pretty amazed by what I did. And they were like, hey, although we were kind of expecting a fan commercial, but you kind of made a fan film out of this. And then we showed it at the Pickwick, just a little short 7-minute video of what I played around with. And everyone pretty much went when they saw it. And after they went nuts, I was thinking to myself, you know what? We should take this thing further. I could probably formulate a cool little idea I've always had since I was a kid about Godzilla and all his Showa buddies going up against all the bad guys, and from the Showa era and some from the Heisei and the Millennium series, because let's be honest, a lot of us fans, I mean not all, but a lot of us fans do prefer the Showa era. That's how the idea all came about and started.
Alright. So, is there... we obviously know that Hyper Godzilla is not your creation, but what suits did you create in the process of the movie that we've seen?
Well, in the videos that you've seen, including G-Fantasy Worlds Collide and my trailers and some of my sneak peek videos on YouTube, I created the first Godzilla costume, which represents the Showa era Godzilla.
Yeah.
And I also created the Zombie Kong outfit, which I'll admit I kind of cheated, and I bought an ape suit from Spirit Hell. And I cut some holes out of it and latex painted some yarn to make it look like muscle fibers, and then cut out a piece in the face mask and put another latex made piece of a skull, because I wanted I wanted King Kong to look like a zombie, because trying to recreate King Kong versus Godzilla again would be pointless. There's no way anyone will ever be able to recreate that magic again. So I decided there to go with the next best thing. Why not make King Kong a zombie? And maybe a zombie, he can be kind of like Solomon Grundy from the DC comic book universe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I made the zombie clone suit, sorry. And I also made Hedra, the smog monster, and Ebra, the sea monster.
Cool. Now what's that? Oh, sorry. Are you? Want me to go, or were you talking?
No, I was done.
Oh, okay. What's that? I don't know the name of this monster. I don't know if you've released it yet. What's that weird like little bug one that we see on like the Matt Frank poster?
The Venus flytrap looking thing.
Yeah, that one.
That guy, yeah. Everyone has been asking me about him. Are you guys familiar with the Godzilla Marvel comics?
Yes.
Back in the 70s?
Yes.
Do you remember the monster that looks similar to it, known as Rayanne?
Vividly, yeah, I kind of remember.
Well, that monster is pretty much a very updated and upgraded version, you could say, of Rayanne.
Are you gonna name him Ray? I can't say it. Are you gonna name him that?
Well, we did pretty much name him that. When we shot him at G-Fest for G-Fantas vs. Thing, we kind of called him Thing, and we also called him Shirakuna. But in reality, Paul Gabbins took the design of Rayanne from the Marvel comics, and he kind of molded it into a more original creation, but using similar aspects to it. But since he did that, I thought it was only fair in my version of Godzilla Battle Royale, which I did use some of the footage from G-Fantas vs. Thing, since I helped them out with effects work on it. I figured, you know what, let's just call him Rayanne. But nowhere in the film is he ever called Rayanne. We just kind of let those who know who he is assume that it is Rayanne. So yeah, I'll even admit it's Rayanne from the Godzilla Marvel comics.
Now you haven't said this anywhere else, have you?
Well, anyone who's asked me, I've always admitted that it's Rayanne from the Godzilla Marvel comics.
Oh.
So, but we changed his appearance around a little bit, because in the comics he doesn't have those light up wings, and he certainly, I don't think he had lasers coming out of his eyes. But we wanted to give all these monsters some new upgraded powers and just make them seem indestructible.
All right. So now he made that, right? Or did you make it?
Paul Gabbins made the prop, but also, if you're familiar with Chris Elchison with Monsters, he made us a little puppet for G-Fest 2011. Well, yeah, after G-Fest 2011, me and him collaborated, and then he made a little puppet that he green screened, and I used for some city backdrops mats, and we added that puppet in, which it really helped us in some shots. So it was both Paul Gammons who made the large prop and Chris Elchison who made the small prop.
So who suit acts in? I'm just gonna take this name because he's the big boy, Godzilla. Like, do you suit act or does someone else?
Are you asking about the Showa Godzilla or Hyper Godzilla?
Either one, whichever one was the most miserable.
Well, I acted in the Showa Godzilla suit, and Jacob Baker acted in the Hyper Godzilla suit. Yep, and it was no easy task for either of us.
Yeah, because Hyper Godzilla seems like he had to be slunched over a lot because of the way his back is.
Well, actually, not really. From what I've seen on his earlier design sketches, he's actually kind of standing upright, but they had to modify the suit because when they originally did it, they were about to start latexing the suit, but they noticed a problem in the head, that it was looking down too much. So what they did was they kind of angled out the neck forward a bit with some wood supports, and since, that kind of is how Godzilla's Millennium posture was in sometimes. Well, actually, no, sorry, that's not true. I guess they took a different approach. They angled his neck out a little further so they could put the head facing forward more instead of it looking down. Which, when he's standing up in Hyper Godzilla, he's not really hunching because his head is right at the base of the neck.
Yeah.
explain that. But our suits are essentially the same materials, both foam and both latex. His had a little more foam to it, so I will admit his suit was a tad bit heavier than mine. However, at the time when I was filming, I didn't have a fan in my suit, whereas he did. So, but we both had our own challenges in dealing with our suits. I'll admit, his suit was far better than mine. But yeah, either way, it was challenging for both of us.
Yeah, so, what was I about to say? I can't remember. Now, how much did it... I'm just going to ask this because I kind of want to make a Godzilla suit. How much did it cost to make your Showa Godzilla suit?
Well, if I had to guess, it took a year to make it, and it was literally all trial and error. I had messed up on that suit several times. At first, I just wanted to do carpet foam and spray paint, which that didn't really work. So, over that mistake, I glued foam over the carpet foam. And it looked a little better, but then I made the mistake of spray painting that foam. And not really doing my research at the time. So, I tried that, and I actually broke the leg doing it. So, I was a little upset after that, and then after about 6 months of messing around with it and G-Fest coming up, I was just like, you know what, I need to go back to formula on this. So, but I didn't want to trash what I had already did because I couldn't afford more foam at the time. So I was just kind of praying that I could fix my mistakes as I went, which luckily I learned that if I could somehow glue some cotton sheeting over the foam, and actually I think I glued more foam over the spray painted foam, if I'm not mistaken. I can't exactly remember if I did that or not, but either way, I glued some cotton sheeting over the foam, and then I mixed casting latex with the colored paint, which I needed, which was charcoal gray, obviously, which is what Godzilla is. Not green, but charcoal gray. And I painted that over the cotton sheeting, over the foam, over the carpet foam. And that took a little while to do. I did 5 coats of it, which is what was suggested in some research I did. And I finally got it to where I wanted it. So after that, I'd say I spent about anywhere in between 800 to maybe $950 on it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot, and it was a lot of it was just a lot of learning as I went.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure any Godzilla fan wants to make a Godzilla suit, especially as good as, say, yours, or if God would allow them. Just no offense, but Hyper Godzilla looks absolutely amazing. I love that one.
I'll even be the first to admit, this suit's when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, my suit sucks.
Yeah, you just like walked up to him like, I'm done. Behead me, DSI.
Yeah. These suits are not cheap.
So what do you use for a basis of the suit? Because I don't think you can just make a suit out of foam and stuff, like out of the balloon, like pah. So what do you usually use for the skull, if you would call it?
Oh, for the head, you mean?
Not the. I see, because I can never say skeleton. I can never skeleton. Because I grew up.
First, you have to make sections of the suit, but what some people do, like Jacob Baker did, he actually made. I think he took some felt or something else and wrapped it all around his body, and just so he had like a felt bodysuit to start off. Then they started wrapping foam around and gluing that on top of it, and then they started giving the joints more sections, like more muscles, more shape, and then after that they start adding in the details like the scales or the bubble skin or whatever the texture skin is, and then after that they used. I think what they did was used a lot of scrap foam, grinded it up, and then started kind of gluing that on top of the foam and the detail that they already had to give it a little more texture. And after that, they started spraying on the latex. And then after that, they started painting the thing over the latex. Now, me, I kind of prefer mixing the latex with the paint because it gives better dexterity to the surface. But then again, if you do that, you might run the risk of losing some detail out of the detail.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a risk-reward kind of.
Well, because I will admit, sometimes when you do it the other way, I've noticed that the suit is a bit more prone to rip.
Mm.
Oh. But regardless, I mean, Jacob's suits were pretty durable for a time. But then again, any latex suit, we've all known from the Godzilla films, there are so many of those suits, and they took so much punishment, and yet they could only last.
We're sorry, your mic cut out right there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, like right, you went to, they have so many suits and then your mic kind of went blah, blah, blah.
Oh, well, they had so many suits back then that they were lucky to have the same suit for a second film.
Alright. Yeah, alright, sorry about that. Some bike just drove by and I hate that because it's summer. Alright, so another thing that a lot of fans, especially me and Dean over here, are like flabbergasted about is that you got a poster from Matt Frank. What is that like?
Yeah, Matt Frank, I was very lucky to get him to do the poster for us, because he's a great guy. I've always enjoyed working with him. Though I always feel bad because he's a very busy guy, too. And like early on, he made a great poster to start off with, but he kind of wanted to redo it. And I was like, well, I actually really like what you did here, dude. He's like, no, trust me, I gotta redo this. So it took him a little while, but right as G-Fest hit, he sent me the file, and I took one look at it, and I was pretty flabbergasted by what he did, because not only was he true to his word, he went beyond creativity to finish this poster, because it really kind of reminded me of what he did for the G-Fan issue number 100, where he had almost every kaiju and monster you could ever think.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
And he did it a little similar with this poster, but he did leave enough room for just about every monster, and even put a really great rendition of my character, which I have to admit, he kind of made me look badass there.
Yeah.
And he also...
Yeah, I did.
He also made Queen Exatius's eyes look evil. He did a really good job of getting Vika Zyka's like eye level on the top of the poster. So I can't thank Matt Frank enough for all the great work he did there. He's a great guy to work with. But like I said before, I always felt bad when he had so many other things piled up, and I would sometimes ask him how things were going, but at the same time, I was very hesitant too, because I was like, I know he's busy. I hope he doesn't get mad at me for asking. But yeah, Matt Frank, great guy to work with.
Yeah. A little off topic about the busy thing. The first time we ever talked to him, I don't know, do you read Rules of Earth? Godzilla Rules of Earth, the comic he wrote on?
I do read it. It's just I've been so busy with GBR lately that I hadn't had a chance to really get the newer issues, but I do intend to remedy that.
Alright, because the first time we talked to him, the issue he was working on, he was in the middle of coloring it.
Of inking it in,
Yeah, he
and
was
we were basically interrupting him.
We were interrupting
It was
him doing
we
numbers.
felt so bad. That was the worst part.
So all you people who read Godzilla Rules of Earth issue 10, you realize that we almost delayed it. So you can punch us in the gut. So alright, so...
You almost said something else. That wouldn't have been nice.
Oh, yeah.
I would not like that.
I
don't like being punched in the gut either, so don't do that. Do it to Rib, because he likes it, apparently.
I don't like... Alright, so Billy's like, alright, no, just stop. Alright, so... Because the thing about you said, how much did you have to pay him for the poster?
That I don't know if I should talk about that.
Yeah,
He
actually...
wants me to talk about that or not. So
Alright.
just out of respect for that, I don't know if he would want me discussing that right here, right now, but maybe later, if he's okay with that, I'll let you guys know later.
Alright, because actually that was a stupid question on my
No, no,
part.
no, it's not a stupid question. It's just, I'm not sure if he's okay with me talking about that or not, so I would rather ask him first before I start saying it.
Alright, because the thing about getting Matt Frank to do artwork is we have a little project that we're going to tease right here. Yeah, I'm being ballsy right now. But we asked him for advice because, you know, he's Matt Frank. And he was like, I don't really know what kind of advice to give you. But we were nervous because he put I don't know if you've seen this Facebook set he put up. Not When did he put it up, Dean?
I think it was yesterday or the day before. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was one of those days. And he talks about, I really don't like little kids who keep asking me to draw pictures for them. And me and Dean, we were both like, is he talking about us? I hope he's not talking about us.
Yeah, and then I had to sure Riv. Wait, we just asked him about advice. We didn't ask him to draw anything for us, you know.
Yeah, so, on topic,
Oh, shit.
I know. So, Billy, will you ever release the actual movie on DVD?
Yeah, I've already made DVDs of it, but at the same time, I only gave some DVDs out to those who were involved with the film at G-Fest. I will admit I gave a few other ones out, but now I've kind of realized that in doing so, I'm kind of taking a risk because it's not that I don't trust anybody, but I do have to be careful because any one of these people could technically just burn it onto their computer and then put it on YouTube, which is now why I'm going to be a little careful about who I give it to because there's still cast and crew I haven't given it to, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt provided they keep their word. They're not going to put it on YouTube because it goes up on Godzilla's 60th anniversary for a reason, to celebrate Godzilla.
Yeah.
And once it's released, if people want to try and find me somehow, I will admit that mailing these things out can get quite expensive, and I can't make any money, not one dime off these things, because then Toho will crucify me.
Yeah.
But, you see, I really have to be careful with this whole thing, because Toho at any time could literally just send me a cease and desist, and that'll be the end of GBR.
Yeah, it's kind of like... It's kind of like... Oh, sorry. So, no, you go.
But I'm very fortunate and very lucky, I guess you could say, that they've allowed my videos to stay on YouTube. Because I've always tried to credit them. I've always tried to make it known that, yeah, Godzilla and all these characters are Toho, King Kong is Universal, Zigra is Daiei, and Rayan is Marvel, and Chief Antis is Kaiju Enterprises. So I have quite a few monsters from quite a few different franchises, quite a few different owners.
Yeah. So, as listening to that, as you were like, he's owned by Toho, he's owned by Universal, the one that I could not get used to hearing all those names, and all of a sudden Marvel just pops out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, Rayan, yeah.
Right, yeah. So, I guess really we should ask you if there's I don't know if there's going to be spoilers, but what was your favorite part? Just say in general, like if it was a fight or something. Because we don't want to give away spoilers for the movie.
Asking me a question like that, like, I love the whole damn film. If I really had to pick some moments, I guess one of my favorite moments, as I finished the film and started watching it, I really love where my Godzilla suit just gets pummeled by every villain at the same time.
You're just like, burn, mother. Like,
yeah, because like there comes a point when he's kind of like he's gotten to a point where all the monsters have pretty much incapacitated all the other Monster Island monsters, and then it's pretty much Godzilla versus everyone of the villains, that is. And just when things couldn't get any worse, Queen Exatius, just to make damn sure she has checkmate on Godzilla, she releases Biollante.
oh, is that the part in the movie trailers that we see
Yeah.
Biollante pick him up?
And then the Heisei version of Biollante is pretty much taken on the Showa Godzilla, which makes Godzilla very small compared to Biollante, at least this one. So Godzilla definitely has one hell of a battle to try and survive if he can.
Yeah, if he can.
But I won't leak any more from there because I will ruin a vital element there, which will intend to be a surprise. A lot of people at G-Fest saw it, but luckily they haven't really been talking too much about it. I will have to admit the mystery monster has been spoiled, and
Who?
I'll just... Yeah, the mystery monster.
I haven't seen it yet, so it's not a mystery to me. Yes.
Do you want me to tell you who it is?
No, maybe after.
Why?
Okay, Caesar. No.
Okay. But yeah, that would have to be my favorite moments.
Unless it's Bagan the secret monster, then just tell me. If it's Bagan, then I would fall in love.
You know, I'll just tell you. The secret is already out. You guys are probably going to find out tomorrow anyway.
I already know.
It's not King Ghidorah, but it's Queen Ghidorah. Yep, it's a female version of Ghidorah.
Whoa. I did not see that coming.
And the alien Queen Ixatius pretty much turns into her.
Whoa! Spoiler.
Well, that's even cooler.
That's, I don't know, have they put that online yet, or no?
I haven't put it online yet, but you know what? I have pretty much made the post on Facebook leaking her image, and a lot of people definitely took very well to the design, which was created, again, by Chris Elgison of Masking Tape Monster.
Yeah. So technically we got a Planet Kaiju exclusive to the public, my god.
Not exactly. Slightly.
Well,
Slightly.
Yeah, you kind of do, yeah.
Origin-wise.
Origins, yeah. So, that's pretty... So, as I'm going to say right now, what was your kind of... I already asked what was your favorite part shooting, but what was your favorite part overall? Was it pre-production, was it production, or was it post-production? Or was it just watching your film come together and just watching the full final product?
Wait, going back to your previous question, you wanted to know what was my favorite part of filming and not the film itself?
Oh, no, I meant the film itself. I'm just lazy with choosing my words lately.
Okay. But now you're asking me, like, what was the more fun part of it? Pre-production, post-production, or what?
Yeah.
Well, I will admit the funnest times I had was filming with all these great artists. And now, unfortunately, we all couldn't be at the same place at the same time. The actors couldn't be in the same place as the monster cast, and vice versa with the crew and all. Like, I had to film a lot of the actors separate, and the actors never got to meet each other. There were a few instances where I was able to get 3 actors, like my good friend Sarah Breidenbach, who plays the Commander Lex, and Braddock and Madison, her assistants, in the control room. That was about the most I had on screen at one point. And they acted very well with each other, and Sarah herself is a very exceptional actress. I've acted with her before in theater, and I was very lucky to have her and everyone else who helped act as the characters in my film. So, working with them was really fun. Working with the monster cast, especially Jacob Baker, Chris Biola, Tristan Domey, Jeff Magnuson, who played Mechagodzilla, and that is actually the same Mechagodzilla you saw in the 30 Rock episode.
Whoa!
Oh, cool, that's right.
Yep. I also worked with Nick Huber, with Riley McGee. I've worked with, I'm trying to remember all names, just bear with me here a second. And my good buddy Scott Whipple, he actually got in the Zombie Kong suit, and he's a weightlifter and a really big burly guy to begin with. And he was the perfect choice for Zombie because he could literally lift me up while I was in the Godzilla suit.
So it's like the actual Godzilla versus King Kong.
Oh yeah, he was a monster, and but he's a great guy to work with.
All right,
and plus he was a big Godzilla fan too to begin with, so that I was lucky there.
Yeah, and speaking of actors, I don't know if it's in the final movie, but let's talk about that a cameo character.
I have 2 cameos, by the way.
Oh, really? I've only seen the You know, the big one that everyone talks about.
Well, I also have a cameo of Robert Scott Field as well.
Oh,
Nice.
I just got friends with him on Facebook. Oh,
Oh yeah, Robert is one of the coolest guys ever in G fandom. He cares about all the fans, and he always tries to communicate with everyone as best he can. But you know what? Still a great guy to talk to at G Fest if you ever run into him there. He's always happy to answer any questions about Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah or whatever. And he was also kind of the main reason we were able to get Akira Takarada, because at G Fest he assists with helping the Japanese celebrities communicate with fans because he acts as an interpreter. And I asked him at G Fest 2012 if, since Akira Takarada was also there, I was like, hey, think we might be able to get Akira Takarada in for a very quick cameo? And he's like, yeah, he might be able to do it. So I was working on some other stuff in the Dojo Film Studios room, and in walks Akira Takarada, ready to go. We all stopped what we were doing, and we filmed 2 cameos of him. We filmed one for the Dojo project, Mecha Gfantis Backfires, where he and the original Ultraman, Ben Furyu, he also gave us a little cameo there. They act as these authority figures who look down upon the Mecha Gfantis design, whereas the whole crowd of audience wants it to be built. But then they're just like, boo. And then after that, he was gracious enough to do just one more cameo for us, which was my film, Godzilla Battle Royale. And I gave him a flash drive and just asked Robert to tell him to just do this really cool turn from, say, like this noir 50s film, and just hold out this flash drive for this person who's supposed to be in front of him, who was my actress Olivia Wolniak, who played Kumi, and I filmed her separately for this, just in case we were to get Akira Takarada. And he did the scene, and after he was done and I got to yell cut, it was just like, it was one of the most nostalgic things I ever saw in my whole life, ever. And I felt I had seen it all. And I will say this, Akira Takarada can still work a damn scene.
So that's a pretty monumental occasion in your life, having a legend in your film. 2 legends, by the way, maybe I should say.
Yep. Yep, 2 legends. I was very lucky to have both of them. They're both great individuals to work with, and I just hope that, I know Robert Scott Field has seen bits of the film, and he definitely enjoyed it, though I do hope, if I could ever somehow get a copy over to Akira Takarada, that he and his family will also definitely enjoy it as well.
That would be cool. Now, see, speaking of him, see, me and Dean and a few others are friends with, who was it that we're friends with, Dean, who worked on 2000?
Shiniki Wakasa, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Picasso, yeah.
And we were like, oh, that'd be cool if we got an interview with him. But then we realized, oh, wait a minute, we don't speak Japanese.
That's a problem.
Yeah, so we were kind of okay, because we can do it written interview. I mean, we have Bing to translate stuff, but it'd be cool to do like an interview we're doing right now.
Yeah, he's a very friendly guy. I've met him at G-Fest, and he actually remembered me from Facebook, so that was a really cool thing. He was kind of like, oh yeah, I know you, Billy Dubose.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh hi.
You were just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I was a little surprised he remembered me off Facebook. I didn't think he would, but that was really cool.
Yeah, because he's awesome on Facebook. Oh, maybe because, and also because he posts a lot. He just posts a lot, and it's really cool to see, like, me and Dean both were just like, oh my god, this is not really happening, is it?
Yeah, I've always loved his designs for the Millennium series, so yeah, I've always been a big fan of Wakasa's work.
Chair, I thought we were asking a question. Chair's like, hey.
Oh, sorry, I was just reaching back for some water.
Damn, I don't got a drink in here. But anyway, so, I guess there's not much more to ask you about. I guess this is the one last question. this is just like a little asking question thing. That's not even grammar. What's it like being in a Godzilla suit, just destroying a bunch of stuff? Like, can you see in the suit? Because I know the original suits, you have the kind of trouble to see.
Well, I will say that it is both a very cool experience and a very painful experience. You ask a very good question there because a lot of people think that suit acting is something that's very easy. It's not. Haru Nakajima-san will tell you the same, and everyone else who's suit acted will all tell you the same. If you can't stand the heat, you better get out of the kitchen. So, it's really fun when you get in that suit because you realize you're portraying the character that you always loved seeing when you were a kid, whoever that character may be.
Yeah.
But then once you get in there and you're in that thing for about maybe 5-10 minutes, you start feeling the sweat pouring down your body, and then you start to smell your own sweat in there, which that gets annoying. And then there's sweat getting into your eyes. When your eyes start stinging, that's even worse. And I do have like a black mesh hole. I know a lot of people on YouTube always rag on my suit for having that hole, or what they call a laryngectomy. Yeah, I'll admit, I see those comments every day on YouTube. But then again, if my suit was that bad, then how did it get over 250,000 views on YouTube?
Yeah.
So, but sorry, not trying to brag there, but I will say that whether it's Jacob's suit, my suit, Nick Huber's suit, or any of our suits, all those suits, all of them will tell you, were really undamn comfortable. Because we all got tired, and I always felt bad when I was directing some of the monster suit guys. I always kept telling them, guys, if you need a break, just tell me, we'll stop right now. But most of them were pretty good about, being troopers and keeping them on. But I always tried to respect when they needed to take it off, they needed to get out and take a break. Because even some of the most professional guys, even though our suits don't weigh nearly as much as those suits do, they've all had to take frequent breaks. So there's no shame in doing a good amount of shots and then taking a break and then going right back at it.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants to try it, that you just need to be aware it is no easy task. It's not as easy as you at first think it is. You really have to prepare yourself physically, mentally, because if you were to go right into it and not be aware of those things, it could be potentially dangerous, because you face heat exhaustion at all times being in that thing. It gets up to 100 degrees sometimes.
Holy crap.
And think of all the times I wore that in the summer without a fan. Those were the worst times. I kind of did that when I was helping the Lobster Dance guys with Ultraman Sorta versus Godzilla, their one fan film. And they definitely did a very good job filming. That's one thing I will say about those guys. They were very detail-oriented, and they made sure everything looked impeccable.
Oh, is that the picture you have on I don't know if you want me to say what it is, if you want me to say.
Yeah, that was a side fan film I did while I was finishing GBR called Ultraman Sorta versus Godzilla.
Sorta versus Godzilla, that's great.
Yep.
So, now, this is just like a little goofy question. Do you have any stories on the set of GBR, like some of the stories like, oh, the actors passed out, or any of those kind of stories like that, or no?
A lot of those funny stories would be included in that gag reel that I just put up, if you guys had seen that yet.
No, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna watch that actually.
You guys might want to check that out, because most of the funniest stories happened in that video. There were a few times things got a little dicey. There was one time when I was in the Godzilla suit while I was helping the Lobster Dance guys. They had these smoke flares blazing to make the shot look really atmospheric-like. But when we were shooting, I was like doing some actions. I forgot what I was doing, but the smoke got caught right in the hole where the mesh was in, and I was kind of breathing really heavy, and I didn't quite realize that I was breathing the smoke in. And then as I breathed the smoke in, I started hyperventilating. And then after I started hyperventilating, I found myself almost losing consciousness. And fortunately, they saw what was about to happen and what the smoke was doing, and they just called cut. And they all saw that I was almost about to keel over, and they kind of caught me before it happened and pulled the head off.
So that's a pretty bad one.
And I will admit there were a lot of challenges to deal with, because when you're filming a whole bunch of actors, you have to account for availability. You have to make sure you take care of these actors in some way. I'll admit I didn't have a lot of money to compensate them, but I always tried my best to compensate for food, drinks, and even gas money at times.
Yeah.
And as a form of payment, I also let them keep their costumes.
Yeah.
Yep, so all the girls with those cute outfits definitely kept their outfits.
That's.
and some of them are even costumers or cosplayers, so chances are they'll probably repurpose those outfits for something else later on.
Yeah. So if you were to ever do, and this is just my own question, if you were ever to do a GBR 2, can you, like, please add Bagan? You know who Bagan is, right?
Baggin? Yeah.
Yeah, can you, like, add him? I'm just asking.
Well, I have to say, after you see the film, you'll realize why there cannot be a GBR2 after it.
You better not kill him.
Well, I'm not going to leak anything, but a lot of people ask me, when am I going to make the sequel? When am I going to make the sequel? Well, considering this film took me 4 years, 6 if you include all the years it took me to make my suits along with it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as much as I would love to make a sequel, I don't know if I could honestly put myself all through that again. Now, if I had a whole team of people, if I even had Toho help me back this thing, that might be a different story. I might reconsider, but and I know that'll never happen.
Yeah.
But honestly, with my current situation and all, I honestly can't afford to make another sequel. It would just be so much money again. It'd be a lot of time and effort, and getting people back, which they're all happy with what they did, but I think all of us can agree we're all owed a serious damn break.
Yeah. So, just so we know, since there's not going to be a 2, do you end it on a big bang? Like, do you end it like, okay, that's a good closure, it doesn't need a sequel?
I will admit this much. Yeah, true. It's going to end with a ginormous magnum pistol bang.
Ooh. Yeah, because whenever I watch a Godzilla movie, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm always petrified to see if he loses. I'm like, no.
Rest assured, it's gonna end with a big damn bang.
I can't wait. Because there's a lot of ways people can finish off Godzilla. I know on a project we're working on, we had an idea. It was like we had like a little stupid idea. Well, not stupid, but it was creative. But like there's some other ideas like Dean over here, he once told me an idea he had for something. I forget what it was. He said, what if we have Godzilla fight Space Godzilla? They use
That's right.
What was it? Something happens with Space Godzilla.
Space Godzilla, he uses his black hole technique, I don't know what to call it, where you can do black holes.
Yeah, so then him and Godzilla get sucked in. Then we had like
The humans, they have to get him back in order to stop another threat. So they build a dimension tide. Then we see Godzilla step out of the black hole holding Space Godzilla's head.
But on the project we're working on, not the one we're working on. We kind of threw that idea away, and that's where it's at. So we're just kind of, because we have the story all planned out. Actually, I'm not gonna hide it. The project we're working on, we have the whole story planned out, but we're still writing because one day, I don't know if this happened with you, with your co-writers, if you had co-writers. Me and him, we stayed up till 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is the latest time. And we started at about 10. We started writing. We literally wrote through 3. We're on the third one right now. We wrote through two whole plot lines, and it was a nightmare. Because the first one we did had about 6. I don't know how I can put this without giving it away. 6 parts, I want to say, and then the second storyline we did had about 8 or 10. So we stayed up till about a good 5 hours writing it until Dean was like, "All right, I give up. We can write this another time." So we're almost finished, but I don't know if you had to stay up late writing your script for GBR.
That's what it takes sometimes. You'd be amazed what I stayed up and worked on. There were times I literally stayed up all night working on effect shots. There were times I stayed up all night doing editing. There were times I literally stayed up just trying to make damn sure my exports went through fine, because there were times my exports failed, and then I was kind of panicking at times. There was one time, and I hate to admit this, but I had to answer the phone, and I left my computer unattended because I always thought my cats would never screw with the equipment. And my cat Dahlia literally jumped behind the hard drive.
Oh no!
And unplugged my hard drive while I had my Final Cut on.
Oh
and
shit!
She kind of ruined a lot of my sound files. Luckily, my video files were fine, but a lot of my sound files got corrupted within my work, and that was like hours and hours of work I had to redo.
Wow.
And I love my cat so much, but I just looked at Dahlia, and she's kind of looking at me with this guilty expression.
Like, bruh, no.
I was just like, Dahlia, how could you do that?
Why?
No, Dahlia's a great cat. She didn't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I was almost panicking that I lost a lot of my work.
So did you have to get rid of some of the sound bites, or?
Well, what happened was the sound that was already in there was corrupted, and then I had to go back in, find all the sound files from the original sources, and place them right back in. It took a while, but it wasn't the end of the world.
Alright, because we don't want to know if there was like an alternate cut that was lost, so if it was like better or not. But okay.
No, there's no alternate cuts that were lost. It was just had to go back and redo some things.
Alright, so I guess we're doing these questions on like the final cut that will come out soon. Well, not soon, about how much? 3 months? 3 months or 4 months? But are there any deleted scenes that you might add on like the DVD or behind the features or whatever?
Well, I am working on a possible alternate ending.
Ooh.
So, it's actually kind of an alternate stinger ending, I guess you could call it. And Chris Elchison was helping me with it. I hope I might be able to get the remaining footage on this. So what it is, it's basically Kumi's character, Kumi Wakabayashi, if you get the reference I'm going by there.
Yeah, I get it.
Kumi Mizuno and Akiko Wakabayashi, the 2 hottest G actresses ever. So, but yeah, her character is in this top secret dome, which is working on Mechagodzilla 3, repairing him after the final battle. And in walks Ugal from Mechagodzilla, played by
Cool.
and he basically has a little scene with Kumi there, but it's also kind of a stinger to maybe hint that it may not be over eventually.
But that's the alternate ending. It's not the actual ending. Because obviously what you said before.
It's kind of one of those endings that might leave you wanting a little more, but it still ends it on a funny note.
Alright, so... So, like... I don't know what I can ask. Dean, come up with a question. You've been there for an hour.
Okay, alright, so basically, since the main topic of this has been talking about, fan film in general, gonna take a bit of a turn to another one. I would like to know what you think of, Godzilla Heritage.
Yeah, Godzilla Heritage by Greg Graves and Tim Schafer and Rashad Santiago. It's definitely a very ambitious project, and when I first heard about it, I like the historical aspect that it's got going for it. How they're gonna kind of take Steve Martin, like a relative of Steve Martin's, and kind of have him narrate this battle, which kind of draws from the original Godzilla King of the Monsters story, and bring Anguirus into it. And Anguirus, from what I understand, is going to be one mean son of a bitch here.
Yeah.
That's probably all I can really say. I probably shouldn't say any more than that, but I'm very excited about it, and I do plan on supporting them with that project. And all are great guys. I hung out with them at G-Fest, and they're very excited to start working on this thing.
Alright, so speaking of Heritage, I guess we can go on that a bit. I don't want to stay on it too long. What do you think of the Heritage Goji suit?
I actually saw the head of it, and from what I understand, I may be wrong on this. I don't want to. Don't quote me on this. I think they either might be looking into like remaking another suit with it, but they want to keep the design the same. I don't know. You might be better off asking them if you ever got the chance.
Yeah, I believe they said they wanted to redo it with, better and with animatronics.
But they did bring the first head prop that they were working on, and I took me and Jacob. We were both looking at it, and we were like, "Wow, this is some excellent work here." And Rashad Santiago, he obviously won the first. He won Face Off this year, and that definitely is going to be very good for this project.
Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much all we can ask for about Heritage, since they don't have much released about it yet. So, what can I ask you about GBR? Because that's the big thing right now on your YouTube and stuff. Oh, what's the custom plane you made for it? I can't remember, sadly. I'm sorry.
The Jet X-Rider.
X-Rider. So, exactly how did that work? Like, the whole thing. Like, where did that come in? Like, how did you come up with it?
Well, it was actually a toy that Paul Gabbins had, and we were playing around with it during the G-Fantas Worlds Collide video, or commercial, and I took one look at it, I'm like, you know what, this toy, this Jetfred toy, looks pretty badass. And we kind of modified it a little bit to have this fire mirror, like reminiscent to Godzilla vs. Biollante, because I always loved that weapon.
Yeah.
I love the idea that Godzilla could shoot his ray at it and then it reflect the ray right back at him. So we wanted to draw on that for influence, and we just pretty much used the toy. We got some. I put it against a blue screen because we obviously couldn't green screen that without it turning invisible. And I tried to animate it the best I could off the green screen and on top of the mats. And there were even times we used it a little bit on the set with some string, but that always proved to be a challenge. Whereas blue screening it made it a little more easier.
Yeah. So how hard was it to edit that I'm sorry. Kind of, how we see on YouTube that sneak peek with the part with like the the fire reflectant shield, like doors open. Like, was that hard to do on the editing?
Yeah, that was quite a challenge there because I also had to use Photoshop for some of that stuff. I had to create 3D elements and then take those 3D elements from Photoshop, put it in the Vision Lab, and then animate the doors to like make it look like any of the Mechagodzilla films where he's rising up and the doors open above him. There's no way I couldn't have not included that because almost every Mechagodzilla film had that. So you kind of have to keep that tradition going.
Yeah. So, that's pretty much all the questions we can ask about Battle Royale. I don't know if you have any, Dean. Like, get them out right now.
Yeah, nothing.
Because this is getting a good interview. So, I guess we can kind of make I don't know if you want to make this under an hour, if you guys think this is good enough.
Well, if you have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
See, because we're trying to be professional, but I can't think of any questions off the top of my head right now.
Since we were talking about G-Fest earlier, how was the Ifukube concert?
The Ifukube concert by John DeSantis. Yeah, just classic, nostalgic, and we're never gonna see an act like that for a long, long time. That's all I'm gonna say. Because, I will also say that hearing all those tunes in real time with a full professional orchestra, and the fact that this guy was able to lead a successful Kickstarter for it, and not only win Kickstarter, but actually get more money, go over the goal, that was amazing. And he literally did very well with it, and it was just a success.
All right. So, I'm kind of creating a question for GBR right now, so I think this is kind of the final one. Overall, I think this should be the final question. What is your honest opinion, if you were not the creator and you were just looking at it, what do you think, what is your honest opinion about your final product of GBR? Like, what do you think? Is it exactly like what you wanted your vision to be, or is there some different things, or is it just a good film in general?
I mean, any little nitpicks I may have on the film itself aside, I wouldn't have done anything differently. So I'm honestly in love with this film. I wouldn't have made it if I wasn't in love with it, and it was pretty much the film I had always wanted to see since I was a kid, because I always loved watching the Godzilla versus films as a kid. I always loved going on the scavenger hunt to find them since they were so hard to find back in the day. But I always begged the question, what if they were in what if they all were in one place at one time and not in Japan?
Yeah. So, is there any more you can elaborate on that? Like, I can't talk. Like, so is it exactly what your vision was?
It was exactly what my vision was and more. Because at first, I had a very short version of my film, which only included about 10 monsters. And that was back when I formulated the idea in 2012. 2011. After the success of our G-Fantas Worlds Collide video. So I started with 10 monsters, and then the next year, we got some more people to help us, and we actually had more monsters to film. I got Mechagodzilla in there, and I was like, hell yeah, let's keep this going. And the next year, I filmed more monsters, and then we were able to finally get a Ghidorah in there, and I was like, damn, there's no way we can lose with this now. Or at least I was hoping there wouldn't be. I never thought when I first started really working on this film later on in 2011, technically I started working on it in 2010, but during 2011, I just had a small epic idea and it turned into a very large one. By 2012. So I'm really happy it grew, and I'm really happy that I was able to help other people with it. And when I say that, I'm happy I was able to help people follow their passions as far as suit acting goes, or whatever it is they wanted to do to contribute to this film. But if you're asking me if I never made the thing and how I would feel about it just watching it right now, if I hadn't made it and someone else did the same way I did it, I would be in love with it still.
So, I think that was long enough, but I'm just gonna say this right now. I think I speak behalf of any Godzilla fan. It's so good to see that there is another fan film coming out, because whenever you look up Godzilla fan films on YouTube, it's usually like a toy film by like a 11-year-old in like his little like room. But there's like little few like Deadzilla's films he makes. They're so well done, even though they're figures, and I love them. But I really always wanted one like yours with suits. And now that we're getting more of those, like Battle Royale and Heritage, I hope there's a lot more coming in the future. Because there's one on YouTube. There's one called, what was it, Dean?
Godzilla X the Kaiju Killer.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
right.
another one too. But I was thinking this one, that's a good one also by Chris. There's one with a puppet and stop motion. It's called Godzilla's Return, I think. But it's not Godzilla. They use the Zilla puppet, which kind of diminishes the value.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
That was
really good, even though it used Zilla, but still.
It was
cool.
really good. It's it has its own thumbnail. I might just look it up, guys. It's really good. But they take this unique idea, like they're in. It's like everyone wanted to see Godzilla attack British. If you didn't if you ever wanted Godzilla attack Britain, and if you never wanted to, well, you got it. It's they kind of, the main character. I'm just gonna talk about this film real quick. He kind of reminds me of Joe from the new Godzilla movie, because he always like searches up on Godzilla. Because I'm not gonna go in depth. I'm gonna spoil the movie if I keep going. But check that movie out. But also, thank you, Bill, for taking this time with us. Make sure to go check out Godzilla Battle Royale, guys. November 3rd. And if you were at G-Fest to witness this movie, luckies. Bill, thank you very much for having us. Being on the show. I can't talk. Being on the show.
Cool.
It was a really honor to talk to you. And also, I'm sure Dean will say that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, it was definitely a pleasure talking with you guys, and thank you very much again for having me. And yeah, I can't wait to show you guys the film.
I can't wait. So, thank you all for watching, guys. I am Riv from Planet Kaiju. This is Dean Richardson from Planet Kaiju. Yeah, I'm sharing your name fully. And, of course, This was Billy. And we'll catch you guys later. And make sure to like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Make sure to like the Facebook page. Make sure to follow the Twitter. I need to post more on there. Make sure to add us to your circles on Google+. All around, just like us everywhere. So, thank you all for watching.